Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to draw a polar bear wearing a fun sweater. You're going to need some paper, crayons, something to draw with, and word cards when we get ready to write, or just writing paper. Let's get started. To draw a polar bear wearing a sweater, we're going to start about in the middle of the paper, and we're going to be drawing a large rainbow shape that goes almost all the way to the top of the paper, but not quite. So I'm going to start right about in the middle, curve up, and over for a nice large-sized rainbow. At the top of that rainbow, I'm going to make two more medium-sized rainbows. So I'm going to start on the side, curve up, and over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Start on the side, curve up, and over. I also want to make two more rainbow shapes inside the ones that I just made. These are going to be just a little smaller. So another rainbow shape and another rainbow shape. Now I'm going to come down to the bottom of that first big rainbow shape that I made, and I'm going to connect it with a flattened smile line. I'm going to start here, make that flattened smile line all the way over to the other side to connect it. Next, I'm going to make some shapes, waterfall shapes that are lines that start here and slide down to the bottom of the paper. So I'm going to start at the end, curve out just a little, and slide down. Do the same thing on the other side. Start at the end, curve out, and come down. Now I'm starting to see my bear formed, but I'm going to add some facial features. To make the bear's nose, or his snout, I'm going to start right in the middle of my paper, and I'm going to make another rainbow shape, but this one's going to be a little bit smaller than this original one that I made. Not so big. In fact, I would say maybe about the size of the ones we used inside the bear's ears. I start in the middle, and I make that rainbow shape over to the other side. I'm going to come back to where I started that rainbow shape, and I'm going to make a line that kind of curves out and curves around. So it's almost like a sideways smile. Curve out and curve around about to the middle of that rainbow. Only it's not touching. I'm just going to go over my line so it's a little darker. Much better. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Kind of a sideways smile. Come out, curve around, and it's going to connect. And I want to make it about the same size of that last one that I made. So come out, around, and connect. So now I need to come inside, and I'm going to start right where that point is. I'm going to come up just a little bit, and I'm going to make an upside down V right above it. At the point of that upside down V, I'm going to make a short line up, and then I'm going to make a little bit of a larger V at the top. And now I'm going to connect that V with a flattened rainbow shape. And I'm going to color it in. So now I can see the bear's kind of mouth and nose and everything. Next, I'm going to come to the side, and I'm going to draw some eyes. I just make circles for eyes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the eye or darken it in, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a white space so that you're seeing a little bit of a shine in my bear's eyes, just like that. So again, I color almost all of it, and I kind of outline a little bit to see where I'm going to leave that shine. Almost all the way in, but leave the little bit of white so I'm seeing a little light shine in the bear's eyes. Next, I want to make some fur. The way that I make fur, or add texture to the bear's face, is just by using short little lines all over his face and ears. So, I start right above the nose, and I make these short lines, and they're just going to keep going up, all the way up to the top of the face. And there we go. I also want to make them at the bottom of the face, because the bear has fur all over his body. I'm not going to do the sweater part, but just his face. And your lines don't have to be perfect. You don't have to worry about which way they're facing. It's really up to you. The most important thing is to have fun while you're doing this. I go around the eyes now, around the ears. Again, just short little lines. And I fill in all that empty space with some more lines. All right, so now my bear's face and ears look like they have a little bit of fur on them. So now I want to come down to this empty space here and make a sweater. To make my sweater, I'm going to start by just making flattened rainbow lines that go across from one side to the other. And I'm going to make a few of those. Now, I'm going to add in some shapes in each row. The shapes that you use are really up to you. They can be real shapes, they can just be curved lines. It's up to you. Any kind of decoration that you want to use is just fine. I'll start with some V's. They'll kind of end up looking like triangles when I color them in. Maybe I'll do some rectangles. Maybe I'll also make some circles. And at the bottom, I think I'm just gonna make up my own shape. I think I'll just make some little swirls. All right, so now I have finished drawing my polar bear in his cozy sweater, but let's color him in. Now that we've colored in our polar bear, let's go over some trick words. Remember, trick words, sight words, or know by heart words are words that you cannot sound out. You need to memorize them. Let's take a look at our first one. This word is R. Read it with me. R. Let's spell it. A-R-E. The word is R. Our next word is U. Read it with me. U. Let's spell it. Y-O-U. And the word is you. Our last word is Read it with me. Let's spell it. A. And the word is Now that we've gone over our trick words, let's get ready to write. I have some lined paper, but you can feel free to use any type of paper that you have. Our sentence is going to be, you are a big polar bear. Remember, we start our writing at the top and the left. Our first word is you. Do you remember how to spell you? I'm going to start with a capital letter and write Y-O-U. You. Fingers ready? Let's read. You are. Do you remember how to spell the word are? Add a finger space and write A-R-E-R. Let's get our fingers ready to read again. You are Do you remember how to spell the word Add a finger space and write the letter A for the word Fingers ready to read again. You are a big. We didn't practice big because it's not a trick word, but it is a word that you can tap out. I have my tapping cubes here. Let's say all the sounds we hear in big. B, I, G. Big. The first sound that we hear in big is B. Do you know what letter makes the B sound? If you said B, you're correct. Don't forget to add a finger space before you write it. This is a new word. Let's say the sounds again. Big. B, I. Do you know what letter makes the I sound? If you said I, you are correct. Let's tap out the sounds one more time so we can get that last sound. Big. B, I, G. Do you know what letter makes the G sound? If you said G, you got it right. So now I've tapped out my word, B, I, G, and I have the word big. Let's get ready to read again. You are a big polar bear. Polar bear is not a word that we practiced because it's not a trick word. But you can sound out polar bear if you like. Polar has 2 syllables, polar. So you're going to want to sound that out in 2 parts. Bear, the second word, has 1 syllable, bear. So you're going to sound that out in 1 part. You can pause the video right now if you'd like to try sounding out polar bear on your own. If you're not quite ready for that, you could always write the beginning sounds that you hear at the beginning of polar. P, p. That's the letter P. And bear. B, b, bear. That's the letter B. Or you can copy my labels. Polar bear. Now I'm running out of room, so I'm going to swing back to the left and the bottom, and I'm going to write the word polar first. I'm going to add a finger space, and then I'm going to copy the label for bear. You can pause my video if you need to copy it, but right now, we're going to get back to reading. Fingers ready? You are a big polar bear. I don't know about you, but if I saw a big polar bear wearing a sweater, I'd be very surprised. The type of punctuation I use when I'm surprised at the end of a sentence is an exclamation mark. To make an exclamation mark, I make a straight line down, leave a little space, and add a dot. Now I have my exclamation point, and now we're ready to read one last time. Fingers ready? You are a big polar bear. I hope you enjoyed this guided drawing. I hope you enjoyed doing our writing lesson. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!